to Murphy's Garden. I'm Olivia, Jenny's daughter, and I've finished university for the summer now, so I'm in the garden doing a little bit more. So I thought in today's video I would give you a tour of what we're growing in our vegetable patch, as you can see behind me, and talk you through what some of the things that are doing really well and that we're picking absolutely loads of, and some of the things that we perhaps need to reconsider for next year. We've currently had lots of rain, we've just had a massive downpour and now the sun's out, so it's really good growing conditions for all the plants. Maybe not best conditions for gardening in, but the plants are loving it, so I'll show you around. Behind this net at the back here we've got cauliflower that's growing and also our kale. We've got two different types of kale and both of it's Sarah Raven. We've picked one cauliflower already which has been pickled, so hopefully that should be nice, and we've got another one coming along and I'm really pleased with those actually. We haven't grown cauliflower before and they're doing really well. And then in front of that we've just got some tomatoes that were left over from some of the ones in the greenhouse, and below we've got some lettuces that are just coming on. The kale and the cauliflower has been a bit attacked by the cabbage whites, so we have put a net structure over the top to try and prevent any more from getting in. But as long as we're just washing it really thoroughly when we eat it, then it should be okay. But we've also got another net coming from Amazon to go over the other one because this is a bit of a temporary thing at the moment, so we'll put that up soon. So behind me here are board beans, and we've infilled with some onions, and then on this frame here we've got some French beans which always do really, really well. They're absolutely delicious, that we put over this bamboo structure. The broad beans that are here, we've also got some more further down the vegetable patch, and we've done it in 3 different stages. Some were planted in the autumn, some early summer, and then these ones. So that means that instead of other years we've had to just harvest it all at once, it's been a bit of a nightmare when it comes to handling the produce. So this means that we can just pick each group at a time and freeze it and use them whenever we need, instead of having a mad rush of like having to pick them all at once and then having way too many to be able to cope with. Under this net cover here we've planted some more spinach. We did have quite a few rows of them, but they were all just getting completely eaten. We hadn't put this cover over the top of it, so in the last couple of days we've just sown some more seed. We've literally only got one spinach plant in there which has survived, but hopefully with this cover over the top it will mean that we will get some more this time that actually grow and aren't just getting demolished. So yeah, we'll hopefully wait and see. We should have some spinach very soon. Behind the spinach net I've just spotted a few raspberries that we've got coming on. So I'm sure that in a few days or weeks this will all be absolutely covered in raspberries. Here behind me is our strawberry patch, which has done really well this year. I think I bought about 4 plants last year from the nursery that I work at, and we took cuttings from these little offshoots that you can do. You can see they've already got a few aerial roots on them, so that's a really good thing to do if you want some more strawberries. They throw out these offshoots and you can just literally cut there and put it in a bit of soil and it will produce a brand new strawberry plant. So we did that last year and it's really starting to fill out. We've had loads. Only issue is we didn't really net it, so it's probably our own fault, but all the wasps have come in and they're kind of demolishing them a bit. But when there was a few occasional strawberries on there that you can pick, you've just got to watch out for the wasps. In front of me here is our blueberry bush, which always does well. We did have 2 and one of them just looked dead all the time, but we've got some really, really lovely blueberries. So I think I might have to pick some of these before the birds get it, because again we haven't netted. But yeah, it always produces loads of blueberries and they're so lovely, they're so sweet, nicer than any shop blueberries. Yeah, it's just a lovely plant to have. One of my absolute favourite thing that we grow are the gooseberries. We've got a red variety at the front here and then a green variety, and I can never, every single year, I can never get over how delicious they taste. They honestly just taste like little sweets and they're so lovely. And we always get absolutely loads, and it's so lovely to have with yogurt or something with a bit of cinnamon, or my mum does a really nice gooseberry streusel cake, which is always delicious, or even like crumble or something, or just to have by themselves. They're absolutely lovely and they freeze really well as well, so you can use them throughout the year. We have picked quite a lot but there's still absolutely loads on here. You've just got to really watch out for the thorns because they are so spiky, so you need to get in there with a good pair of gloves and just pick loads. And then here next to them we've got a blackcurrant bush which desperately needs to be picked as well. We've got loads on here, and again these are really good to freeze, really nice in like smoothies or something. They're just another one that's really great to grow, really easy, and all you've got to do is just be ready to pick when they all come at once because you get hundreds. At the back of this area is our rhubarb, which we have picked quite a lot of already, and I did make a really nice cake. I'll put it on the screen. It was the rhubarb and elderflower cake from our elderflower cordial which we made, and it was so lovely. It was really nice. I'll perhaps link the recipe in case anyone wants to make it, but it was very nice, highly recommend. But yeah, rhubarb is a really nice one. And I think we've chopped loads of it up and kind of made it into a puree, so we might do a streusel cake or a crumble or something like that with it too. Below me here are our peas and our middle lot of broad beans. I spoke about before how we did them in 3 different groups. This is like the middle group, so these are just coming on now. So we're currently picking these ones. The peas have been absolutely delicious as always. We've still got quite a few on there, but the frame has kind of collapsed a little bit, so we're kind of having to rummage through. And the heavens have just opened as per, so we'll probably get a massive downpour and then the sun will come out again. But yeah, these are always lovely, always a massive hit. Again, they freeze well, but with the peas, you know, you sometimes don't even want to cook them, you just want to eat them straight out of the pods. They're absolutely delicious, so sweet, nicer than any pea that you can buy from the shop, and the broad beans always do very well. So this row that's in front of me here are our parsnips that are doing really well. I'm really excited to see what they'll be like. And we've also planted a row of rocket, which is just about coming through. Rocket's a really, really lovely one to have in salads and things, so highly recommend growing that. And then behind me is this chard, which is lovely. It's sort of like spinach, but a bit thicker, and again, really lovely cooked or just raw. It's really nice and it always does quite well. It does get a little bit eaten, but it's not too bad. Next to me here are again some tomatoes that were left over. That's pink something. I'll put the names on the screen. And then in front of them are some aubergine plants. We have got one in the greenhouse and it's just really not doing well at all. I did hear that it doesn't like changes in temperatures, and it was by the entrance of the greenhouse, so I don't know if it was the opening and closing of the doors it didn't like and the rises in hot and cold. So there are some out here. I'm not sure how well they're doing. I mean, they're quite small, but we'll see. Fingers crossed they do something, but I don't know, we might have to reconsider that for next year, or just make sure that they're at the back of the greenhouse for next year. Here are our apples, and this one in this pot seems to be the only one this year that's actually producing a substantial amount of fruit. The others that are spallied are barely producing any, which is really disappointing, but maybe it's just one of those years where it's having a bit of a growth period. I mean, talk about planting conditions, the heavens have just opened, so I'm going to get absolutely soaked. But I just quickly, before I go inside, we've got some more kale under here which we put this net to try and stop the pigeons and things like that. I'm going to get soaked. And then behind me we've got the sweet corn, which is doing really, really well this year. We've got barotti beans, and the potatoes are next to me, and I'm going to have to go inside and finish this one later because I'm going to get soaked. The sun is back out again and I only got a little bit soaked. But these are the potatoes. These are the Charlotte potatoes. We've dug a few of these up, and they've been really nice. But we've got so many to get through, which is very good. But yes, potatoes are just lovely, and it's nice to grow. Nice to just come out, and it's like digging for gold. It's never a better feeling. It's really satisfying. Yeah, so I'll go down and show you the other varieties that we've got growing. So the ones that are our main crop / kind of second early are the Maris Piper, and then the main crop that we've got this year are a potato called Sarpo Mirror, and I don't think we've grown those before. So I look forward to tasting those and seeing what they're like. We usually get a really lovely one called Elf, which we've grown for the past 2 years, but we couldn't get hold of it this year. But that is a really lovely one which I do recommend, because you don't even need butter on it. It tastes so delicious when you boil it. It's just absolutely lovely. Under this little netted frame here are the dwarf French beans, which have got a few coming on. We've got black, yellow and green, and I can already see quite a few of the little black ones coming on. They're so lovely again. And then in the background, which I previously mentioned while I was getting drenched by the downpour, was our sweet corn, which is doing really, really well this year. Last year we had a bit of a funny year where it didn't really grow that well. It was kind of looking a little bit deformed, but this year it's looking quite promising, so I can't wait to try them. Behind me here are our spallied pears, which are not doing well at all. We hardly have any pears this year. These are usually loaded full of pears, but I can barely see any. I think I can, spot a few, but it looks like it's not going to be a great year for pears or apples, unfortunately. But hopefully next year, fingers crossed, we will get a few more. In this container growing here are some carrots. Last year we put them in this container because it's to try and avoid the carrot fly, because the carrot fly can only fly up to a certain height. So if you put them in a container which is bottomless, we've cut a hole in this container, the carrots can go into the ground, but they're high enough and they sit above the carrot fly, so that avoids that. And also it means that you can put in really nice soil. We've got really stony soil, so whenever we grew carrots straight in the ground, they would always come out in really funny and sometimes kind of inappropriate shapes. But this means you get a nice straight carrot, and they're also a lot bigger. It gives them a bit more space. So yeah, hopefully they'll be looking nice very soon too. On the floor here we've got some radishes that we have picked already, and they're so lovely, they're really delicious. So these are a really good plant just to fill a space, because they hardly take up any room at all, and they're really fast growing too. So if you have a tiny little space in your garden, highly recommend growing some radishes because they're absolutely delicious. Just make sure to pull them when they're quite young, because it's nothing worse than getting them when they're all really, really woody. One of my absolute favourites that we grow every single year in the garden that always never fail us are courgettes. I absolutely love them. I think you can do so much of them, from soup to roasting them to putting them in a cake, literally anything, pasta, you can make them into anything, and they're absolutely delicious. We grow some yellow ones down here, and then we've got some normal green ones that have got a bit of a stripe going through them. I think this year they are Sarah Raven, but I'll have to double check, and I'll put the name on the screen of the varieties that we're growing. But yeah, they never fail us, they always do so well, and it's really funny because you can literally come out in the morning and there's like tiny little courgettes, and by the afternoon they're massive, and you swear in your life you've got every single one, and then you come back and there's like a giant courgette in the back. But yeah, they're one of my absolute favourites and go-tos because they are just so easy to grow and they produce so many. And finally, at the very back of our vegetable patch, we've got the other spallied pear tree here. But these are all of the butternut squashes and also the pumpkin, which I think is black footsie again. And butternut squash is a lovely, lovely one for autumn. Really nice. You can make some really nice soup with it, and roasted it's absolutely delicious, or stuffed. It's really nice. Yeah, highly recommend butternut squash, and it always seems to do quite well in our garden too, which is great. I thought quickly I would just show you what's going on in the greenhouse. So as we walk in, we've got a cucumber plant here, which has actually got very nice cucumber on. So I shall pick that later. We've got some tomatoes here. We've got gherkins, which has got quite a lot on. So we like to pickle these. So I'll pick all of these and then we can pickle them tonight because we've got quite a few coming on. More tomatoes in the back here, which are turning red eventually. Some basil down there, which we've just potted on. We actually bought, we potted quite a lot from seed, but recently we've got some more coming on from seed, but just to do us for the time being, we got one from the shop, so just a supermarket, and then split it and put it all in. So that's what this is. and then we can, when the seed comes along, we can put that in too. More tomatoes. Here is the aubergine. It's actually looking a lot better. It's got some flowers, so they will turn into fruit. It's looking a lot better now we've moved it to the back. And then here we've got chilli, and some more chilies here. These are really lovely. Josh makes a really lovely chili sauce, so these will all be covered in chilies soon. And then over here, this is our garlic that we picked. It's called White Casablanca, and this is lovely. It's a really nice garlic. I mean, it's quite small, but you know, you only need a few cloves. So pleased with that. That will last a long time. And then here we've got some beetroot coming along. We've got some more lettuce. I think that's lettuce too, yeah. And then I'm not sure what this is. Oh, that's the basil there. So yes, and then some coriander that's looking a little bit ropey in the back. But yeah, this is the current state of the greenhouse. And then just down below here, we've got some mint. These are all different varieties. I think we've got some lemon mint. I think this is the lemon mint actually, so that's really lovely to put in lots of different things. And then the chives down here and some rosemary. So that is the greenhouse. On that note, that is everything that we're growing currently outside in our vegetable patch this year. I hope it gives you maybe a little bit of inspiration of something that you can grow in your own garden, or let you just see, you know, how we're growing different things. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it inspires you to grow your own fruit and veg. It's definitely worth it. It tastes so much nicer than any shop bought produce that you can buy, and also it's just such a rewarding process, and it's so lovely to come out in the morning or come out just before your lunch or dinner and just pick all your ingredients and make it. It tastes so fresh and it's absolutely delicious. I highly recommend growing your own. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Bye for now.